Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're a real coffee lover, you already know exactly how magical that first sip of the day is. But let's be honest, you also know just how overwhelming the sheer variety of brewing methods out there has become. From traditional pots to high tech gadgets, the market is absolutely flooded with different ways to extract flavors and aromas from coffee grounds. It can be incredibly confusing to figure out which device is actually right for you. Well, that is exactly what we're going to solve today. By breaking down the mechanics, the convenience levels, and the nuances of these different machines, we're going to equip you with all the knowledge you need to find your perfect brewer. Let's kick things off with a pretty crucial question. What type of coffee do you actually prefer? Think about your personal taste and your daily routine for a second. Are you someone who needs a quick, giant, reliable morning cup just to get out the door? Or do you crave a rich, concentrated afternoon espresso with that perfect crema to sip on slowly? Maybe you're all about milk-based drinks like lattes and cappuccinos. Holding your ideal cup of coffee in your mind right now is the perfect way to anchor the rest of the information we're about to cover. Here is our roadmap for today. First, choosing your perfect brewer. Second, the most convenient machines. Third, moderately convenient coffee makers. Fourth, least convenient but maximum tradition. And finally, making your final decision. All right, let's dive right into section 1, choosing your perfect brewer. Before we even look at a single machine, setting up some ground rules is absolutely vital for filtering out the noise. First up, space. You really have to measure your available countertop area so your kitchen actually remains functional. And don't forget storage for accessories like capsules or frothers. Second, your preferred price point. There are incredible brewers at literally every budget, so knowing yours keeps you focused. Third is that coffee type you identified a minute ago, since that dictates the brewing mechanism you need. And finally, what features are total must-haves for you? Do you need precise temperature control? Do you need 9 bars of pressure for true espresso? Or maybe built-in milk frothing? Pinning these 4 criteria down first makes everything else a total breeze. Moving right along to section 2, the most convenient machines. If you're someone who prioritizes speed, consistency, and getting a great cup of coffee with minimal active effort, this really perfectly illustrates the two ends of our spectrum. On one side, you have the effortless, push-button capsule machine where the appliance does absolutely everything for you in seconds. On the exact opposite end, you've got the coffee siphon. It's a highly involved, almost chemistry-like process requiring a ton of time and manual intervention. But right now, we are focusing squarely on that fast, effortless side of the spectrum. Let's talk about the trusty drip coffee maker. This is the ultimate benchmark for convenience and reliability. The routine is incredibly straightforward. Fill the water reservoir, pop in a filter, add your grounds, and hit start. The machine heats the water and evenly drips it right over the coffee. It's accessible for all budgets, super easy to maintain, and modern versions even have timers, so your coffee is literally waiting for you the minute you wake up. It produces a balanced cup every single time, making it fantastic whether you're a total novice or a seasoned pro who just wants a steady, large volume of coffee. Now, if you want even more convenience, you're looking at the single-serve capsule machine. This eliminates all the messy measuring and grinding. You just make sure there's fresh water in the tank, pop in a pre-packaged capsule, close the lid to puncture it, pick your brew size, and press a button. That's it. The self-contained nature of the capsule means you don't need any extra accessories, and the cleanup is practically zero. It delivers completely unmatched consistency cup after cup, which is exactly why these machines have massively surged in popularity for busy households. Then we have the espresso machine. You still get incredible convenience here, especially with semi-automatic or super automatic models, but it definitely demands a bit more precision. You've got to grind your beans finely, and this is key. You use a tamper to compress the coffee firmly into the portafilter to create a perfectly level surface. Once it's locked in, you press brew. The machine uses high pressure to forcefully push water through that compressed puck of coffee. And that is exactly what creates that incredibly rich, concentrated flavor and the signature foamy crema on top. It's the essential foundation for any barista-style drink. All right, stepping it up a bit. Section 3, moderately convenient coffee makers. These next methods ask for a bit more hands-on time, but the trade-off is much greater control over your final cup. Enter the French press. This is a beloved, highly affordable homebrewing staple. Unlike the drip methods we just talked about, the French press uses an immersion technique. The coffee grounds just sit directly in the hot water for the entire brewing time. That extracts a very rich, full-body cup with a slightly thicker, heavier texture that many coffee purists absolutely swear by. The process itself requires minimal extra equipment, really just a kettle. You add your coarsely ground coffee and a splash of hot water, giving it a quick stir to make sure all those grounds are thoroughly wet. Then you fill the press with the rest of your hot water, pop the plunger on top, and wait a full 4 minutes. Finally, you slowly press the plunger down to separate the grounds from the liquid. It's simple, it's immersive, and honestly, it's just really satisfying. Next up in our moderately convenient tier is the pour-over. If the French press is all about heavy body and immersion, the pour-over is all about clarity and precision. By using a cone-shaped filter, this meticulous method yields an exceptionally clean and flavorful profile with very minimal bitterness. Plus, it gives you absolute control over your water temperature, your grind size, and your pouring technique. The ritual here is definitely the best part. You start by rinsing the paper filter with hot water to remove any papery taste. After adding your medium coarse grounds, you pour just a little water to let the coffee bloom or expand for about 30 seconds. Then, using a slow, circular motion, ideally with a gooseneck cuddle, you pour the remaining water. The total brew time is about 2 to 3 minutes. This completely manual, hands-on control lets you tailor the brew exactly to your desired taste, filtering out impurities and leaving a totally pristine cup of coffee. Let's slow things down even more. Section 4. Least convenient, maximum tradition. Okay, these next methods are definitely the least convenient for a rushed morning, but they offer maximum tradition, deep immersion, and truly unique sensory experiences. First up is the stovetop coffee maker, also widely known as a moka pot. This has been a classic Italian household staple for over 80 years. It's a brilliant little device that relies entirely on the physics of steam pressure rather than mechanical pumps. It produces a very strong, highly satisfying cup of coffee that often features a beautiful, velvety crema, making it a super inexpensive alternative to a full espresso machine. Because it operates directly on your stove, it does require some close monitoring. You fill the bottom chamber with cold water just up to the safety valve. Then you drop in the filter basket filled with your finely ground coffee and tightly screw on the top collection chamber. As it heats on the stove, the boiling water creates steam pressure, which forcefully pushes the hot water up through the coffee grounds and straight into the top chamber. It is a fantastic sensory experience that fills your entire kitchen with an incredible aroma. And now, look at the coffee siphon. Honestly, this looks less like a kitchen appliance and more like a 19th century science experiment. It uses a fascinating combination of vacuum and pressure dynamics between two glass globes. The result? An exceptional cup of coffee that extracts deep, complex flavors while leaving pretty much all of the bitterness behind. The steps are wonderfully chemistry-like, which makes this the ultimate weekend coffee enthusiast project. You secure the two globes together and heat the water in the bottom one using a butane burner or a hot plate. As the water boils, pressure forces it up into the top globe where you add your coffee grounds. It steeps up there for 4 to 5 minutes. When you finally remove the heat source, the pressure drops, creating a vacuum that abruptly pulls the brewed coffee back down through a filter into the bottom globe. It is literally a mesmerizing dance of water and coffee. All right, bringing it all together now. Section 5, making your final decision. So we've explored the fast and automated, the manual and precise, and the highly traditional. When you map out convenience, complexity, and cost across all these machines, some super clear patterns emerge. Drip and capsule machines totally dominate the most convenient and easy categories. Espresso is highly convenient, but definitely more complex and costly. Right in the middle, the French press and pour-over balance moderate convenience with varying complexities. And down at the bottom, traditional methods like the stovetop, Turkish pots, large batch percolators, and the siphon fall firmly into the least convenient and hard complexity buckets. Having this data completely empowers you to make a purchase that aligns perfectly with your budget and your skill level. But before you hit buy, let's apply this data directly to your own kitchen setup with a few final reflective questions. How much coffee do you actually drink? If it's multiple cups a day, a large carafe drip machine is probably going to serve you way better than a single-serve capsule. How often do you really want to clean your machine? Espresso machines and siphons require some diligent maintenance, while capsules and French presses are an absolute breeze. Are your preferred beans delicate and nuanced? A pour-over will highlight those best. And again, realistically, how much counter space do you actually have? Ultimately, the perfect coffee machine doesn't just make a great beverage, it seamlessly sits into the rhythm of your life. So I'm going to leave you with this one lingering question to chew on. When that alarm goes off tomorrow morning, exactly how much effort are you truly willing to put into your